people from sunny weather in Hamburg. As you can see, today is a very beautiful day outside, so I decided to let the drone fly a little bit and show you where we guys actually live. And the funniest thing just happened when I was walking down the street and was telling you guys that I just flew the drone. Like, a neighbor came up to me and was asking me like, yeah, were you the one who flew a drone last week because they got super close to the windows and stuff like that? And I was like, no, it's the first time I flew a drone ever, and I'm staying as far away from the windows as possible. But it's something that in Germany always happens, especially when you're filming in public. Even on something like a phone like this, people react super allergic to that. Like, they don't want to be filmed in public. And it's especially bad with drones in residential areas. So you fly above and take a few photos from like 100 meters above. Like, you can't see anybody. It's just about the location, right? But people, for some reason, always think you're trying to espionage and try to film inside their windows. And it's like the weirdest thing ever because, like, yeah, there's so much interpretation happening. But this guy was super nice. Like, he was super, super dope about it. And we laughed actually a little bit about it. By the way, the film developer called. We can get our film rolls and our scans. Let's go, finally. Secured the bag. I mean, just look at these negatives. These are so cool. Okay, these are perfect. Look like a good exposure. And then next to our two medium format films, I also got a few other things developed, including these films from the Reto from Angelo's birthday. And I guess you already saw the results of these films in the vlog where we were celebrating Angelo's birthday. So yeah, in case you were wondering how it is done, I got a full video review of the Reto 3D on my YouTube channel. I link it somewhere up here, and so then you can just see how it is done basically. But yeah, it's shot on film, then digitized, and then with an app from Reto you can actually do these little 3D animations. But yeah, this is so special when you get these from the developer and you can already see all of the negatives. And there's actually a camera mode on the iPhone which is called inverted intelligent, I think, mode. And then you can already see kind of what the pictures look like. And as you can probably tell, energy is finally coming back to me. I felt like for the past 11 days I've been like just in a slump and like drained and always feeling like I would be getting sick, but now I finally feel a little bit better again. Like, the energy is coming back, I feel good. Going for some grocery shopping and then back home, eating something, and then we'll try to do some Lightroom presets before I go to Jiu-Jitsu again. Man, I've been missing Jiu-Jitsu for the past couple of days, so really hyped to go back to the mats today. Oish! Trolley cab! All right, finally at the workspace, finally at the office again, and we can look at these scans. So I think in order for you guys to understand the whole picture, I will put all of the four kind of images I have side by side. So there's first the Kodak Portra scan. There is the same image on the Rollei Superpan 200. Then there's the Leica RAW file. And then there is the Leica JPEG file with the embedded color, which I'm talking about, which I really like. So from these Portra film photos, there are only a few that I really like and that I feel like they represent the perfect color that I want. So for example, this picture of the facades is exactly what I want, even though they are pretty much neutral white facades with a little bit of an undertone in the yellow direction and the warm direction. For the pure eye, when you look outside, and also as you can see on the Leica, it's pretty much neutral white. But the Portra automatically pulls it into a warm direction. That's what Kodak colors are all about. So this is exactly what I want. So this is what I'm trying to emulate for sure. Now, what I'm also really happy about is that we actually took the color checker, because sometimes the eye's interpretation of a color is just so wrong and we don't realize, because we contextualize color always in the surroundings. So it may look very warm to us now, But maybe if you go in with a color drop tool from Photoshop, you will realize that it's not at all. So that way we can double check with the color checker, because that will pretty accurately show us in which direction we have to shift the color in Lightroom. So on this film stock, the Rollei Superpan, I did a whole other video years back, because it's been my favorite black and white film for years, because it does one thing very well, and I think that is the whole range of gray tones. Normally when you shoot with, for example, Kodak black and white film, the Trimax, for example, is super contrasty, and there's a lot of harsh blacks and harsh whites, and the midtones kind of get kicked out pretty much. But on the Superpan, I think these gray washes are just amazing, especially here with the facade. With so many different layers of luminance, it's so amazing to see how much difference there can be in light value. So this one will be pretty perfect. Now, as you can see here, when you shoot in harsh light conditions, you can also get a very contrasty look out of it, but that's because the light is that way in that moment, not just because the film stock pushes it into this direction. What we will do is I will put everything in Lightroom and we'll work like this. I will first do the Portra 400 preset edit, and I've put everything into the 6:4.5 aspect ratio of the medium format. So let me quickly share my screen with you guys. So what I did is already load up my Lightroom and put all of the Leica DNGs next to the Kodak Portras. We'll put on the left the Portra color, and on the right I will have the Leica image. And as you can see already now here from this photo, the greens are so much more muted, and also the highlights in the back are also quite muted as well. We have a little bit more of a purple undertone here in the shadows, and a lot less contrast. So the same is here, for example, my favorite photo from the facade. Now in comparison, when you compare it like this, it's so funny because now the Leica DNG looks so much more accurate, but we don't want accurate, right? These are just reference pictures in case for us to tune in the hue, the luminance, and the saturation. Let's start with this picture, and I will put on a little time lapse. Okay, so let's look at a before and after of the Leica photo. So on the left, this is what it came straight out of camera in the DNG format, and on the right is the now edited picture right next to each other with a cross section. This looks pretty good actually. Yeah, with a little bit of haze to make it less contrasty, the warmth coming through. Okay, now is the, I would say, moment of truth, because now we actually have to copy, and now we have to put it onto some other picture that we think looks good. All right, so we see now that we turned the yellows too much into one direction, the shadows a little bit too high, we definitely did too much on the orange front, and pulled the greens also too much to one side. So now we have to re-switch a little bit. Quick little resume on the editing so far. It's quite hard, to be honest, to make it so that every picture you put the edit onto looks kind of the same and regular and natural and the way you want it to. You edit one picture and make it look like a Kodak Portra 400 scan, and it works, but then you copy and paste it onto another picture and it doesn't quite look the same. So we will have to just keep working, keep doing it. So far not perfect at all. But short side quest now. Gotta go to train for 1.5 hours of jiu-jitsu, and afterwards will probably feel a lot better. Wenn dieses Monster da ist, dann habe ich immer keinen Spaß. Alright guys, this is Mo, Nogi specialist, wrestling specialist, jiu-jitsu specialist now. So again the question, what's the most important thing you've learned from doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
I come from a background of martial arts, so I did a lot of different stuff since I'm 6. Started with jiu-jitsu at 6, then went over to wrestling, did it for a couple of years, competed in wrestling, competed in German jiu-jitsu, transitioned to BJJ, transitioned to kickboxing, so I'm just a martial artist at heart. So the thing is with most of my background, it's always attack. It's attacking, it's dominating, and if you're on the back foot or if you're on the ground, if you're on your back, you're losing. The different thing with BJJ, which was quite different to accustomed to, was even if you're in a bad position, you always have the possibility to reverse it. Always the possibility to do something better out of it. So the most important thing I think I learned from Jiu-Jitsu was that the fight is not over until you give up. It always continues, it always continues. So it's my decision if I lose. It's not the decision of something else, it's always my decision. So yes, that's the most important thing I learned from Jiu-Jitsu.
Bruce, very wise words guys, spoken like a lion.
Thank you,
man. Hi guys, so I'm back at the office and now I'm trying to get one more session in to get a little bit ahead with the project. Currently I'm trying to figure out what really the problem is, because I actually did a little bit of editing on the color checker and it seems fine, but whenever I copy it and try to paste it somewhere else with different lighting conditions of course, but like it should still work, it doesn't. So maybe I'm not accurate enough. So yeah, trying to figure that out, and yeah, I'll keep you updated if I find out how to do it better. Alright guys, it's 1:30 and I've got to go to bed. Now I am actually able to make it work within the whole series, but when I open up a different Lightroom catalog from like maybe for example let's say when I went to Greece and then I put the presets on there, it just doesn't look right. Either the skin tones are fucked up or like yeah, it just looks unnatural. I have the biggest problems with the skin tones, but that's something I've actually had to learn, that our eyes are actually so prone to seeing skin tones that we immediately realize when something just a little bit is off. So if you're doing a lot of color grading or if you're doing a lot of post-processing photos, you really need to nail the skin tones. That's the most important thing. Everything else you have pretty much leeway. Not really an idea how I can make this better, but as Mo said, it's only over when you give up. Alright guys, good night, peace.